Okay, this is exciting. This is Jim Lowenstern. This is the Exponential Files podcast, and I've got Carlie Fink-Maddux from North Carolina and Pennsylvania, and most importantly, EXP. How are
Yes,
you doing today, Carlie?
I am
Welcome.
wonderful. Thank you for
Welcome.
having me.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's start at the beginning of your career it doesn't even have to be in real estate. What did you do before real estate, if there was something?
So my college degree is in dance, with a background in performance and choreography. I danced in New York for a while, and then came back to Greensboro, which I went to college at UNC Greensboro. And I got into banking, and was with Wachovia, then Wells Fargo. And just started getting certifications. I loved it. I was a personal banker for a while, and then a branch manager and an audit manager. I love numbers, and then I had my daughter, and I realized I wanted something a little bit more flexible. So, my wife at the time was already in real estate, so I was like, okay, I'll get my license. So, I got my license in 2015 and joined Coldwell Banker at the time, and joined a team as their kind of operations manager. Was there for a couple of years, and then came over to EXP as an agent first.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a couple questions
Yeah.
about Coldwell Banker before we get on to EXP. So teams at EXP is pretty big thing.
Yep.
And teams have been known to find their way to EXP for many reasons. The team that you were working with
Mhm.
at Coldwell Banker, do they still exist?
They exist now. They are not with Coldwell Banker anymore. They're kind of their own independent brokerage now, actually.
Interesting.
I've been trying to get them to move over here for a while, but
Okay. Well, we'll talk about them
yeah.
later, you and I, after the show. Okay, so let's talk about EXP. Your title now is like International Transactions
Director. Yeah. Director of
Director.
International Transactions.
That sounds like a big job.
It is. I absolutely love it. So currently I oversee our kind of compliance and transactions processes across our 25 plus countries. So
Okay. Yeah, and I don't even know if you know the answer to these questions, but like I've seen, for example, Japan
mhm.
show up in a lot of stuff. I've got like a little video about EXP and Japan's flag. You can't miss it. It's right there.
Yep.
And that video is like years old. Is Japan legitimately hooked up with EXP now?
Yes. So we announced Japan, Korea, and Egypt a little while back. Japan is officially open. We've done kind of our soft launch there. We have a like the big opening launch in I want to say November. Yeah, but we are officially open
November
of this
in
year.
so
Yeah.
in 2 months, Japan will be official.
That's their big launch event in Japan, but we are
Yes, I remember
officially
like Dubai,
open.
it took a while.
Yep.
I got up early in the morning to watch their big
Mhm.
opening, and then it wasn't a big opening. It was like 30 people on a Zoom
Yeah.
call. So Japan, this has been promised for years.
Mhm.
What's
Yes, it
what's
takes
going
a
on there?
lot of legal hoops to jump through to get into business there. And but we have finally done it. Again, we are officially open in Japan. We have onboarded agents in Japan now, and we have started to enter transactions for them. So we are officially open. In November is just the big launch event in Japan where we'll have agents come, like Felix will be there, just kind of talking about Japan and recruiting and all of that fun stuff. But we are officially open in Japan for business.
And Korea, that's
Same.
official
Yep.
already?
Yep.
I mean, Egypt is official.
Yep. They are all official.
And then what about, was it Chile or Peru
Yep.
or?
Yep. So this year we've opened in a lot of markets. We took a couple of years off from opening just to kind of focus on the ones that we had already opened, get them, better operational processes and things. And this year we've opened officially in Peru, Turkey, Ecuador, uh, Japan, Korea, and Egypt. So we have
Ecuador.
a year.
So if I
Yep.
go to the Galapagos, I can write that trip off.
There you go. Perfect.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how many countries do we have altogether?
Um, let's see, 28 international and then so 30 and then US and Canada.
Okay. And your job is overseeing all the transactions in all the countries outside of the US and Canada.
Yes. So we have in-country teams in all of the countries that, live in the country and so I work with them on creating processes. I learned kind of how their country operates, their compliance needs, and then we create those processes to make sure that the agents have a, wonderful experience and a streamlined experience, and that their focus can be on, clients and growth and selling properties and not on transactional processes. So we try to make it as easy and seamless for them.
Okay. So I'll just put it out there that our little group, we've been doing this magazine now for literally decades,
Mhm.
called Castles Magazine, and we've always had sort of like a curated luxury magazine. And so, do you have, um, I guess it's through Slack, it used to be Workplace, a way to let them know that we have a magazine and the ads are free? That's something. Is that something that anybody would be interested in? I don't
Yeah,
know.
probably, I'm sure. We're kind of revamping all of our luxury processes in our countries, and making it more country specific because I think we were trying to take some of the US processes and bring them over to international, and we've learned that international is very different. So, a lot of times those processes don't work. So, we are now going into each country and kind of creating their own luxury brand and process through what works best for that country. But yes, there is
Is that through EXP Luxury or a division with
it's through, I mean, we are also still working with EXP Luxury, but it's more of our in-country teams are just creating those own processes and then kind of working with the luxury team to streamline them, I'm going to say. But yes, right now it's kind of moved over to the international team.
okay. Are all these countries license countries like yeah, that's yeah. Because I have someone on my team that just moved to Thailand
Mhm.
and we're working with a broker now in Thailand who's got a big website, covers the whole country pretty much, and that's the first thing we learned is no license needed.
Yeah, we have a lot of countries that don't require licensing. One being India, and so it's very different. I don't want to say anybody can just jump in and sell real estate, but it's kind of the truth. So our processes there in those countries have to be a little bit tighter because there's a little bit more issue of non-reporting, but yes, there are many countries that have no license laws.
So what is the fear? Is it more loss of revenue or lawsuits?
Not so much lawsuits. I mean, we still have like our legal team and legal department and usually in-country legal teams as well. It's more of non-reporting, so losing out on um,
Revenue.
yeah, revenue. Yeah.
Publicly traded company,
Mhm.
you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what are the next countries that might be opening up? Well, what do you see on the horizon, or is there going to be another
We
break?
We do have some other countries coming soon. I
What
cannot
about
say which
China?
ones yet.
Is
I think
China even possible? I mean, I know not that everyone's thinking I'm going to retire in Russia right now, but for example, right. I mean, it's sad in a way, but so some countries that would probably never be opened at this point.
yeah, I mean, we have so many in our pipeline and so many that we're working on. And Felix does. I don't know how he ever rests or ever gets a break because I feel like he's constantly traveling around. But we have so many on the horizon. We are going to be announcing some new ones at eXpCon. So
Is Thailand one of them?
no,
Okay.
but that's not to say it's not to come.
Okay, well let's say well, here's a perfect example. So I've got a guy that's got a really good platform connected
Mhm.
really well throughout the country. He would be a prime person, but he doesn't have like 100 agents. He's got a small group of agents.
Yeah.
Um, how do I foster that relationship so he grows big enough to interest EXP?
Yeah. I think it doesn't we don't care about the size of the agents that they're bringing on, right? Or the team that they come in with. I think it's more about quality versus quantity, and that's where we've moved to across all of our countries is recruiting more quality agents. So they could have 2 agents on their team, they could have 50 agents on their team. As long as they have the tools and the skill set and the knowledge, we're very open to it.
Okay. Well, that's really good to hear. So what's what's your normal day like at EXP? Is it mostly paperwork or is it mostly relationships?
It's relationships, a little bit of both. I start quite early, just because, most of the countries are already working and I just prefer to start early. So I usually start between 5:30, 6, and just emails and then meetings usually start around 8, sometimes a little earlier. A lot of meetings with new countries and our finance team and legal team and the in-country teams just to set up, their processes, trainings. And then I have, my international team that I meet with regularly to um, make sure everything's going smooth with our current countries and not just worrying about our new countries we're opening. So a lot of fostering relationships, but also making sure that everything, is getting taken care of. And we've just had this big push where we moved off of our most of our countries were on one global system. And we decided that that was not best for all of our countries, that we wanted our countries to be able to have the tools and resources that were best for their agents in their country. So the past year, we've been transitioning off of our global platform into more country specific platforms. So that has been, and yesterday was our last official country transitioned off. So we are finally officially done with that transition from one system to another. But that's kind of been the focus for me this past year is getting everybody moved over to our new systems, trained, like agents trained. Yeah,
Well, one of the greatest things about EXP is one brand for the whole world,
right.
really. One brokerage for the entire world, no franchises, and technology. So we just moved from workplace, and I know that like every country probably had its own little workplace group and things like that. Now that we're on Slack, is it the same thing? It's just moved over. It's
Yeah. Yeah, so each country still has their own little conversations going on with agents within country, and then we do have kind of a global one. We used to have like a global referral chat, and we do have that now as well, so that you can
so
connect.
what's the name of that group? So
Um,
I, I'm probably on it. Was everyone brought over
Yeah,
from,
I believe everyone that was on that one was brought over.
was it like X by X?
This one is called GL-Corp-International Agent Forum. Um, but yes, pretty much everybody that was in previous ones, they've moved over, but yeah, it's the same situation.
So how many agents are below you, so to speak? How many agents are there in all these countries that you're
Yes.
managing?
So we have over 5,000 agents now internationally and growing consistently. We have a lot of large teams that are coming on soon. So we are just focused on growth right now. And again, focused on growing with productive agents. So again, really focusing more on the quality of who we're recruiting and bringing on. But yeah, we are growing like crazy in international, and it is a beautiful thing to see. I've been with international for um, 3 years now, and it is a whole different ball game from when I came over. So,
And
um,
co-sponsorship is a new thing. How's
mhm.
that helping the growth with the international agents?
Co-sponsor has been an amazing, I think, addition to global and international. It's one of the most unique things I think that EXP has brought on. It allows our agents to collaborate on building their network internationally. No borders, so creates opportunities for mentorship, partnership, growth, and if you're in California, but you're recruiting an agent in Chile, they also want somebody who's local and knows about the market there. It's a great way to, make sure that they have a sponsor that can help mentor them and provide them kind of the information they need, but also then you're growing your global brand as well. So it's one of the most unique things I think that EXP has rolled out so far.
So just listening to you talk about this, I'm thinking, wow, it's a whole nother opportunity for this podcast. I should have like one of the top agents from all the different countries on the podcast talking about, you know, themselves, the business
Yeah,
in their country, and how they like EXP and how it works for them there.
absolutely.
Because I'm imagining EXP in Egypt is going to be very different from EXP in Korea,
Yeah, it is.
right?
Absolutely. That's one of the best things about my job is I never get bored because it's so different day to day and country to country. Keeps it very interesting because it is very different.
What's the, I would say, craziest or funniest, or what's the best story you have?
Um, let's see.
You must have one.
I'm trying to think.
We don't censor anything.
I know. I'm just trying to think. I think not so much the craziest thing. I think that the non-licensing thing when I first came over, it was just very different to me. And I remember India. I was talking to an agent in India, and he was like, "We can literally just write on a napkin, the contract. Here I'm buying your house for this much, and it's a legal contract." So I think just hearing all of the different laws, rules, or lack of laws and rules in different countries was very surprising. Um, there's also a lot of countries that pay, for houses in cash, where, that's not necessarily the case in US. So, just all of the differences.
So I'm guessing Costa Rica is one of those new countries. I'm thinking I've had someone in my luxury group for years now that's been promoting Costa Rican properties on all the EXP workplace groups, and now it'll probably be Slack. So, and that's probably another country where they really don't have licensing like we have in the US. So I guess the question is because now I've got an agent on my team in um, well, she's in Brooklyn, but she's got property in what's it called? St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is a country in the Caribbean.
Yep.
And expensive properties, like resort properties on the beach. She's selling an island off the coast and things like that. Um, and this is fine, I'm guessing. Well, you tell me. So she's got a listing. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not official. How do we work with the paperwork? How do we do this deal?
I think it depends on the licensing laws there, right? Like, is she allowed to officially list? Are there licensing laws there? And if not, like, is she allowed to legally list? Otherwise, you would have to find an agent that there to do a referral with. For now, it would be, yes, an external referral because we're not open
But
there.
this is the kind of stuff you have done deals with EXP agents in countries that are not officially open, correct?
Yes, yeah, we have. I mean, they're not obviously, it's not an EXP agent in that country, but it would be a local agent. But and it would be a referral, or they would help co-list it, things like that. But yeah. Um,
Okay, so you're doing this stuff already. So Thailand and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're not official, but unofficially we can sell there.
yeah, but you can always, yes, you can always sell there, working with a local, partnering with a local agent there. Yes,
And
absolutely.
and if we were marketing this on like Facebook or in our magazine and things like that, that's that's not a violation of EXP rules.
I would just say always check with your broker, managing broker in
Hmm.
the yeah, I'm always gonna throw it back to the end just to verify. And then obviously making sure that you're
That's fine.
with
I
all of the
I
marketing
I
stuff.
I love that answer. That would be my direction to go in. So what's the number one thing you want everyone to know about EXP? Like, you had Coldwell Banker in your background, which is very traditional,
Mhm.
franchised, owned by a conglomerate, publicly traded company that owns every brand and compete against each other, and huge, huge company. And then little tiny EXP, this startup that grew as large as it's already grown and still growing. Um, what's the most surprising thing about EXP?
Um, I think the way that even though we have grown from, a smaller startup when I first started to where we are now, it still feels very much like a close-knit group. You do know what I mean? Like it's never felt like a big corporate conglomerate company. I think that it's still very much always in tune with what the agents want, what the agents need, and providing like, you know, was that world-class customer service. Um, but working in an office in Coldwell Banker to working virtual with eXp, I am closer to my coworkers working virtual than I ever was in an office space. And I think that that's just the environment that we bring and we surround ourselves with here at eXp. It's just like such a positive place always. And there's never a day with eXp that I've come in like, oh, I have to work today. And going into Coldwell Banker, there was a lot of days that I felt like that and so I think just even though we have now grown to such a large company, just still feeling like we have that, down to earth at home kind of feel to it.
And it's also I guess, written into the social fabric of the company is the giving back, the agents that are really superstars
Yeah,
in many
absolutely.
ways, giving back in training. They get stock, they get their basically their cap back
Yep,
in company stock. Great time to be getting the stock with the price kind of
yep.
on the low side because you get more shares. Um, what's the question I should have asked that I forgot to ask?
Um, I do just want to throw out there our global referral platform because it is
Let's
our
talk about it.
that's the one platform that I think really now can connect our agents across the board. We've done over 70,000 referrals through that platform since it started back in 2003. And as we start a new country, they're immediately on there. And I tell agents to make sure they go in and beef up their profiles, write all the things about yourself, put your picture on there, your social media handles, so that even if an agent isn't trying to refer something to you, they can go in and follow you on social media. It is a great connecting tool. And there are so many enhancements that we are working on for it, as well as like adding agent production on there, things like that. So if agents are not using the global referral platform, to make sure they get on it.
Global referral platform. So this platform, is
Hmm.
it used at all between agents in the US? Or is
Yep.
it just country to country?
Nope. You can use it for US agents,
Global literally
global.
means global.
Yep, you can use it. It's for all internal EXP referrals. So any EXP to EXP referral, it takes it, you know, it's so fast. I think the average time I saw the other day was 15 minutes for a referral agreement to be start to finish. That's just the average time between the 70,000 that we've done. But it's so quick, easy, and you can find agents, all of our agents across the world.
So today,
Mhm.
uh, the people that I told you were running late, they have a property in Maine.
Hmm.
And there I am racking my brain. I know we had uh, an agent in Maine on our team, and I think they went to go to a small company. They left EXP. But you know how big Maine is, they were probably literally 500 miles away.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a Remax friend who's up there, and I just asked him, and I see agents. I just referred an agent on my team. There was a New York EXP agent, had a referral for Rhode Island. I've got agents in Rhode Island. I put them together, but I wasn't using the referral platform. Well, now I am.
Now you will. Yep.
I'm not going to give it to Andy at Remax. I'm going to track down an EXP agent
Yep.
in Maine. Now that I
Mhm.
know that global doesn't mean international,
Yep.
global means, and maybe other agents are being confused by that too. When they think
Yeah.
global, they're not thinking US, you
Hmm.
know?
When we use the term global, yeah, that means all of it. So all our international countries plus US, Canada. So that's all encompassing of all of our EXP countries. We usually say if it's international, it's usually outside of US or Canada.
Okay. That was my bad. But
No, I'm glad. I'm glad
I
we
actually
got
am paying attention.
it. Yeah, and hopefully in Maine they've broken it down to like what counties they cover or cities they cover. Hopefully they've broken it down so it's easy.
Okay. And don't forget Castles Magazine
I got it.
for all those people that are going to be following you, Carlie, that the ads for the EXP agents are free. We're opening it up
Very
to
cool.
other agents and other companies because we're curating basically the best properties in the world. So that sort of ties into what you're doing. You're looking for the best agents in the
Mhm.
world. right?
And I'd be happy to, connect you with some of our luxury international agents as well.
Great. Any last thoughts?
No, I
Coming
just
up on the half hour.
appreciate you having me today and letting me, talk a little bit about international, our little slice of heaven over here. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, and we'll do this in the future, and by then we'll have 50 countries to talk about.
All right.
And jot down those stories for the next podcast.
I got it. I'm going to work on some funny stories for you.
Thank you, Carlie. Carlie Fink-Maddux, great show,
Thank
very
you.
informative. And thank you for watching the Exponential Files, and we'll see you next week. Jim Lowenstern. Bye.